Hi, my name is Johnny Sperling, and this is Submerged Seaweed Farming, exploring an innovative approach to climate change mitigation. Submerged seaweed farming aims to leverage the natural growth of seaweed in an attempt to reduce carbon emissions. Utilizing seaweed's natural ability to absorb carbon dioxide through photosynthesis, this method proposes producing large amounts of seaweed and sinking it to the bottom of the sea. The idea here is by submerging the biomass instead of harvesting it. As typically happens, much of the carbon in the current carbon cycle can be removed and withheld for years on end. One controversial, high-profile attempt at reducing carbon emission via submerging seaweed was spearheaded by Running Tide. Running Tide is a private company based in Maine and promised a hefty delivery of nearly 22,000 tons of carbon dioxide removal. Their plan was to grow large quantities of seaweed on devices placed in the open ocean, which in turn would go on to sequester carbon dioxide for hundreds of years to come. The plan was not only ecologically unstable, but it also promoted the use of geoengineering utilizing the environment to aid the environment, as mentioned in Geology 100. This plan was backed and sponsored with $5 million from Shopify and went on to gain the support of scientific organizations such as Ocean Visions. However, this didn't all go to plan. Running Tide began dumping wood chips covered in lime kiln dust, not the promised kelp buoys or sinkers. This brought into question the carbon emissions produced to transport the chips and possibly of the lime kiln dust causing increased acidity in the ocean. Regardless, in 2024, Running Tide shut down, claiming financial issues were the heavy hitter. Though the closure didn't disprove the method utilized, it called its validity into question. The amount of organic material necessary to accomplish what Running Tide claimed would be substantial, and it would take time. Though possible, Running Tide's idea and company ran on a fragile idea, a beta. The idea would require further research to confidently label it a solution to reducing carbon emissions. Seaweed, as do all plants, absorbs carbon dioxide from the atmosphere during photosynthesis, which can contribute to reducing greenhouse gases. However, seaweed is capable of absorbing carbon dioxide through water, which allows the mass production and submerging with little ecological impact as opposed to harvested seaweed. This would allow the permanent storage of carbon dioxide. Quite the alluring idea when it comes to reducing the carbon footprint. However, when it comes to understanding the full picture in terms of ecological impact, things are a bit more uncertain. Submerging large quantities of organic material over a large period of time may cause issues in such a may cause issues over time, such as distorted oxygen levels or nutrient cycles. Technologically, Running Tide's idea is feasible. However, it's only been proven to be effective and possible on a small scale. When it comes to reducing the atmospheric carbon emissions, scaling up the system is difficult. Additionally, monitoring projects of this magnitude require intensive work, as well as locating areas with suitable nutrient richness. Running Tide aimed to profit through carbon offset markets by offering carbon removal credits. Through the growing and submerging of seaweed, Running Tide was able to offer these credits to companies, allowing them to offset their carbon footprint through sponsoring the removal. However, as time went on, it became clear it would be difficult to gain verification for these removals. Running Tide faced criticism from the scientific community for not clearly demonstrating how much carbon their operations were actually removing, and for how long it would remain sequestered. This uncertainty weakened confidence in the credits being sold, reducing the project's economic appeal. Additionally, the cost of deployment and monitoring in the open ocean environments are very high. When it comes to geoengineering strategies like submerged seaweed farming, one of the biggest hurdles isn't just technical or environmental, it's social and political acceptability. Many times, large-scale projects such as this takes place in areas that are shared, raising questions on the ethics and authenticity. For example, Running Tide's attempt at submerging seaweed resulted in widespread speculation from the public and scientific communities due to a lack of oversight and consistent monitoring of the project. Failure at a productive execution of this geoengineering concept resulted in a loss of trust within the concept, or at least a call for much further research. Furthermore, ethical questions may also arise. Who decides whether it's okay to manipulate our oceans and how? With little research and monitoring on such things as decomposing seaweed and its effects. Much of what would be necessary to validate this concept was and is missing. On a smaller scale, this concept is widely accepted as beneficial. However, when it comes to bringing the concept to carbon altering levels, there's much more to be answered. Data from early projects suggest improved water quality and increased marine populations in areas adjacent to seaweed submerging farming sites. However, challenges such as equipment maintenance and environmental monitoring are being addressed to ensure long-term success. Ensuring a successful project requires consistent monitoring and maintenance, and with the scale being attempted, further research as well to guarantee a lack of faults. Running Tide's project underscores the importance of understanding both the potential gains and associated risks, establishing a foundation for future projects in this arena as well. Ongoing monitoring and adaptability will be crucial to success deploying this technology, as well as further research to ensure the concept is as beneficial as advertised. Regardless of Running Tide's failure, it sheds light on the necessity of high-skilled geoengineered technologies and how they must be tested and verified. Though many concepts may succeed on a smaller scale, understanding the implications and complications that may arise on a larger scale is necessary to ensure the success. Thank you.